Hey everyone, this is Professor Dent. I'm just putting together a short video for a quiz review for your quiz this Sunday night at midnight that it's due. It's 20 questions, true, false, multiple choice. So if you take a few minutes and listen to this quiz review, you will do just fine. I'm going to go over all the areas that you need to be aware of from the two chapters. So let's start at understanding what consumers are listed in this graph. You can see the 5 categories and profiles of product adopters. You may remember some of this terminology from the VALS assessment we did. But for a product to be successful, it must be purchased by innovators and early adopters. So in this figure, there's 5 categories of product adopters. A is the innovators, which are typically venturesome, highly educated, and use multiple information sources. B are the early adopters, which are typically leaders in social settings, have a slightly above average education. C are the early majority. These are more deliberate and have many informal contacts. D is the late majority. They are typically skeptical and below average social status. And then E are the laggards. They have a fear of debt and they typically get their information from their neighbors and friends. So it's important for you to be able to recognize these 5 categories and be able to select which one is which. As far as branding strategies, that is on page 284. The 5 categories is page 275. Page 584, this graph is actually from the 7th edition of the book, but it reviews alternative branding strategies that present advantages and disadvantages for markets. So companies can employ several different branding strategies, including A, which is multi-product branding, which a company uses one name for all its products in a product class. So you have Campbell's Soup, you see Kenmore Appliances, and then you have B, which is mixed branding, and this is when a firm makes products under its own names and a reseller because the segment is attracted to the reseller is different than its own market. So for instance, Del Monte, Whirlpool, and Dial, they produce private brands of pet foods. Whirlpool makes private brands of appliances. Dial, private brands of soap. Then you have multi-branding, such as Procter & Gamble, and this is where companies give each product a distinct name when the brand is intended for a different market segment. So you have Tide, Cheer, Snow, Bold. And then you have private multi-branding. Let's see, I did multi-branding. And multi-product branding, which is C. And that's where the company uses one name for products in the product class, like Campbell's Soup. And then all the Toro lawn tools. They have different snow blowers, lawn mowers, things like that. So look at page 284 or page 275 in the 7th edition and be able to recognize the different categories and branding strategies. Then on page 240, look at how consumer products are classified, which affects which products consumer buy and the marketing strategies that are used. So you can see that Rolex is the luxury. Convenience products are going to be in C, which shows that consumers purchase frequently. They typically have to rely on advertising and they have minimal shopping effort. Then again, on page 240, you can look at how people-based services are classified. So there are people-based services and equipment-based services. And so you can see that the 3 categories of people-based services are unskilled labor, skilled labor, and professional labor, and versus equipment, automated, operated by unskilled operators and operated by skilled operators. So be able to recognize which are people service and which are equipment service. Make sure you understand how to recognize multi-branding strategy, which involves giving each product a distinct name when each brand is intended for a different market segment. Again, that is going to show on the graph above, but be able to recognize the multi-branding strategy. On page 269, you can look at how the product life cycle relates to a firm's marketing objectives and the marketing mix. Remember the 4 Ps: product, price, place, promotion. So portion A is the introduction stage, B is the growth stage, C is the maturity stage, and D is the decline stage. Be able to recognize which cycle. In the decline stage, the marketing objective of the product life cycle is to either employ harvesting or deletion strategy. Because sales and profits have dropped, harvesting involves retaining the product and reducing marketing costs, and deletion actually involves dropping the product from the firm's product line. So that's on page 272. Understand what harvesting is. Screening and evaluating stage. So for example, a 3M researcher worked with university students to develop a Post-it flag highlighter. When the team evaluated technical feasibility of the proposed design and determined whether the idea met the firm's objectives set earlier, that happens in the screening and evaluation stage. And that's the screening and evaluation stage of the new product process, in which a firm internally evaluates the technical feasibility of the new product concept and whether it meets the objectives established for the new product strategy development. So understand screening and evaluating. Understand what a brand name refers to. Branding is actually a marketing decision in which organization uses a name, phrase, design, symbols, or a combination of these to identify products and distinguish them from the competitors. A brand name is any word, device, design, sound, shape, or color, or combination of these used to distinguish a seller's products and services. So know that definition. The degree of newness in a new product affects the amount of learning effort consumers must exert to use the product and resulting marketing strategy. A low-learning product requires little learning by the consumer, and the benefits of the purchase are readily understood. Think about whitening toothpaste or new and improved plaque prevention toothpaste, things like that. You're still going to use the toothpaste. It's just new, quote unquote. So understand what a mixed branding strategy is. It's when a firm markets some products under its own name and other products under the name of the reseller because the segment attracted to the reseller is different than its own market. So understand a mixed branding strategy. Understand a multi-product branding strategy in which a company uses one name for all of its products in its product class. That is a multi-product branding strategy. Understand what discontinuous innovation is. That's on page 244 and 246. Discontinuous innovation requires consumers to learn entirely new patterns of behavior and product usage. Think the electric car or Google Glass. Marketing strategy is to educate the consumers through product trials and personal selling. So understand what discontinuous innovation is. Understand the 6 basic criteria for selecting a brand name. Be able to select and recognize one of them. So the 6 basic criteria for selecting a brand name are that it should suggest the product benefits, number 1. Number 2, be memorable, distinctive, and positive. Number 3, fit the company or product image. Number 4, have no legal or regulatory restrictions. Number 5, be simple and emotional. And number 6, have a favorable phonetic and semantic associations in other languages. Understand those 6 basic criteria. Be able to recognize one of them. know what the definition of a product is. A product is a good, service, or idea consisting of a bundle of tangible and intangible attributes that satisfy consumers' needs and is received in exchange for money or something else of value. So know that definition of a product. Understand what a product modification strategy is. A product modification marketing strategy alters the product's characteristics, such as its quality, performance, or appearance, to increase its value and sales to customers. Understand what a product line is. A product line is a group of product or service items that are closely related in terms of needs satisfied, uses, customer groups, outlets, and price range. That is a product line. And lastly, back to page 244, understand what continuous innovation is. It's when a product that is new in some way but requires no new behaviors to be learned by consumers. Again, think of new and improved laundry detergent or whitening toothpaste. The marketing strategy is to gain customer awareness and increase distribution. So that is it. If you have listened to this video, you should be good to go for the quiz, and you have until midnight Sunday night, and I will send a reminder Sunday morning. Have a great week.